HBCU, league pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU, league pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU, league pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU, league pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplified Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplified Development Services.
Nope.
All right, there I go. There I go. I'm gonna try this one more time. Family Lamb, what it do? What it do? What it do? Today is the 26th of October, 2022. We are in the election cycle. How the hell are y'all? Hold on, let me put my glasses on so I can look a little intelligent. Hold on, let me clean out so I won't be fuzzy either. All right. Anyway, how y'all doing? You know, I've been slacking. and I'm gonna blame y'all for it. You know, when y'all got birthdays or anniversaries or whatever it is, y'all gotta let me know, man. Let me shout y'all out. Y'all know how we do this. I appreciate y'all spending time with me. I want to show love, but I don't have my little section up that tell me whose birthday it is or anniversary or none of that. So, you know, let me know. I don't mind shouting y'all out. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna start a little something. Roy gonna be in and out, but he gonna be part of the discussion. He don't need to defend himself because I ain't gonna accuse him of nothing. I'm just gonna state some facts about the show topic, which is religion, sex, and politics. But we might as well go ahead and get into the crux of. Now I'm gonna hold on to that one. All right. I've been a part of a few other shows where people ask me to come in and ask, you know, just for a different opinion. And, you know, I love shows that seek out varying opinions because I always tell you there are several ways to do something the right way. And everybody's way don't work for everybody. So you need to have a balance. More importantly, you need to have options. The more options you have, the better choices you can make. One of the great things about doing this show in the early years, it was just me and Roy, wasn't that we weren't opposites. We just had different opinions on certain things. And it gives people a chance to hear that, because if all you got is one opinion to listen to, if you don't like it, then you just dismiss everything because the opinion that you're hearing it either ain't legit or it don't work for you. And that's something that we got to be more accepting of as a people, that there are very few things that can be done only one way. There are very few things that there is only one solution for. I mean, we're not talking math. 2 + 2 = 4, period. Unless you're cute, then it equals 22. What's up, Bass? How you been, brother? Where you watching from? You came last week, man. I want to make sure I saw you. I was good to see you. But we got to have options. And understand this, sometimes the best option is a bad option, but we still need options because everything that we choose ain't always what we would want to choose. And you know, people say, man, I don't like none of them. Well, listen, these are your choices. You can make them or I can make them for you. What do you want to do? And a lot of people are cool with other people making choices for them. And you know what? See, that works for them because we can't all be the masters of our own fate and destiny. Some of us do very well. We do much better with people making choices for us because it gives us the ability to not be responsible or accountable. And therefore, a lot of times when I'm talking, I realize why a lot of people don't want to hear what I got to say. And it don't mean that they don't make me right or wrong. It's just that a lot of people would rather somebody else be accountable for whatever happens, so they got somebody to blame. And I'm seeing a lot of that. Or you told me to do this, or you said do that. No, I said what I would do. See, me and Vase are two separate people. So he may choose the green pill, I choose the blue pill. We're making them based on our own options and our own life circumstances. Same world. And this is how for the system to work, we have to appreciate that everybody has an option. We have to appreciate that their option won't be our option. And you know, last week, sometimes I made a post about respect. Respect for me, simply for me. Respect ain't mandatory. Respect ain't necessary. What I won't allow is disrespect. Because, you know, it's, everybody going to respect me. You can't make me respect you. I don't know anything about you. I don't have respect or disrespect for you. So I'm neutral. But other people, you know, they say they give respect as soon as they meet people. That's fine. I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just telling you what I do. And this is where it's good to have options, because if you respect everybody off the rip, ain't nothing wrong with that. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease to you. Do what works best for you. But when we start doing stuff, options are so important. Options are so important. Like I said, sometimes all the options suck. I remember my second marriage when my ex-wife was pregnant, and the doctor said it was going to be a rough pregnancy. And if they could only save one, who would I want to save? Second option. At that, you know, realistically, for me to have to be responsible for who dies and who lives, that's a tough choice. That's a tough choice. Everybody don't want that. Doc, well, what about And I get it. It's easier to let somebody else decide. It's easier to say, well, if something went wrong, well, you did this or you did that. Again, I'm okay with that. So when we get into the crux of today's show, which is about religion, sex, and politics, we have to understand that choices in these United States of America is what we got. That's one of the basic tenets, that we have the right to do certain things. But it doesn't say that all our choices will be favorable. Sometimes choices just ain't favorable. See, for most of us, working is a choice, because we can all not work. We just don't like the repercussions from not working. But lots of people don't care. They got people they can mooch off of. They got other things. Do what you do. For me, I work because I want things. That's my option. I work a little harder when I want more things, because I want it to come out of another pay thing. Man, if I was you, I'd be doing this. Hey, that's your choice. If I was me, I would be doing what I'm doing, because I want to do something else, and I want the money set aside for it. I don't want to have to pull from Peter to pay Paul. I got an account for Peter. I got an account for Paul. Again, we're talking choices. And we got to stop telling people what they should do or how they should do something based on our limited belief, and based on the fact that we ain't never walked a mile in their shoes. One of the things I heard a long time ago when I was still in high school, I went to one of these governance things. I want to say it was Zell Miller, but he had made a statement. I don't know if he stole it. It was just the first time I heard it. Never judge a man till you walk a mile in his shoes. We spend a lot of time judging people based on our situations versus their situation. And it's called being empathetic. Try to see things through their eyes, not my eyes. My eyes are very different. What I see in front of me ain't what Vase see in front of him, ain't what Roy see in front of him. We're not going through the same thing. So why'd you do this instead of this? Why'd you do this instead of that? I would have did this. Well, you weren't there. Anybody who plays sports understand this narrative. Anytime you got to make snap decisions, you understand this narrative a little bit better. So as we venture over, and like I say, I'm a big fan of, you won't disrespect me. You don't have to show me respect, but you're not going to disrespect me, especially to my face. That's just not going to happen. And there have been people who have been in the comment section once or twice, I think one of them came on the show, who have been disrespectful. And I apologize, because I let them take me out of character. But there's certain things that I'm passionate about. I'm okay with you disagreeing with me. I'm okay with you having an alternative theory, an alternative option. I'm down for all of that. This show is about resolutions. If we're going to have a problem, anybody can whine, bitch, and complain. What are some solutions for this problem that we're facing? If we're not there to talk about that, about answers, then why are we having a conversation? You know, I was talking to one guy, and he was like, man, I quit you in. I said, dude, this ain't about winning. This is about open dialogue for how you see stuff versus how I see stuff. So we give people options. I ain't nobody keeping score. I ain't got that kind of time. That defeats the purpose of me invading your space and you sitting here chatting with me. So when we talk religion, and like I say, you know, because religion, sex, and politics are the things, you know, you're not supposed to discuss with strangers, because people can be very passionate or disrespectful when these subjects come up. And it's crazy that we can't engage in intelligent dialogue about this subject. How can it be that touchy if the purpose is for education? Well, because a lot of times people don't talk for educational purposes. They talk for bullying purposes. There was a couple of times on my show, I used to have one of my co-hosts was Lyle, a good dude. Lyle Moore was my guy. Lyle Moore was religious. I'm not going to tell Lyle that he can't do something. Part of the reason I wanted Lyle on my show was for the people who bring up religion, because I don't quite understand it, and I'm not a true follower, so I can't give you helpful information as it relates to your faith. So guess what? I get somebody who can, because that's what the show is about. That's why I like to have guests on here who can give you an outside opinion. That's why I like to read your comments, so that you get an outside opinion, because my way ain't always right. Hell, even when it's for me, my way ain't always right. It just works for me. And who do my responses have to work for? Me, comma, and my family, because I'm a married man and I am the head of household. So when I make decisions, I can't make them solely for me anymore. I have to make them for the good of the household, even if they work against me. That's what I call adulting. See, so as we get into religion, and I see people say stuff, and I watch them, and most of the time I stay back, because once I see somebody trying to push religion on you, it gets a little messy and aggravating, because they're trying to impose their will on you. I was in the military. I spent roughly 6 months in Saudi Arabia. They're all Muslims. So I learned a lot about Islam while I was there. Everybody assumed that I was a Muslim prior to, because I was not a big fan of Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism, or any of them. I'm just not. But I like to know about them all, to see what the differences are, to see what drives the people who are followers. How did you get there? How did you get to this? I'm curious. But when people started trying to tell me what I should do, why I should do this, why I should do that, and I'm cool with it, because I will just slowly blow them off. But you can't make certain statements to me if we're having intelligent dialogue and I ask you something and you can't answer it. I'm not here to bash any religion. I will only go into bashing, and I will bash each and every one, because I've learned the pros and cons only when somebody tries to tell me that their religion is better. And you know, and the subsection, I'm gonna do a show on this later, is about the truth, because there are 3 truths and all of them are legitimate. But there is the truth, there is a truth, there's your truth. See, in my truth, my mother's the best mother in the world. That's my truth. Faye's gonna say his, Roy gonna say his, Trina gonna say hers. Everybody's right in their, it ain't even opinion. In their world, that is a truth. It is not the truth, it is their truth. See, the truth is Biden is president. There's no getting around that. He ain't my president. Why ain't he? Because you didn't vote for him? Well, that ain't how it worked. 4 years ago, Trump was our president, like him or not. You cannot deny the truth. To say he ain't yours means you're loony. You don't have to like him. I don't like some of my teachers. There's lots of people I ain't ever liked. Didn't take away who they were or what they were. They were just had a position, and I still didn't like it. And these are the things that we have to, when we're dealing with, we have to accept this. When we're having a religious conversation, if somebody you talking to or not, if is not religious, you can tell them why you are. You can tell the benefits that work for you. What do they call it? Give your testimony, as they call it. Let your testimony, let your deeds pull them toward whatever it is you're doing. And maybe when they watch you, I know some good Christians. I know some horrible Christians. So when I want to talk good Christianity, I go to the good Christians, ones who will have intelligent conversation with me, one who will respect the fact that I'm probably more atheist than anything else. But there's something for people who believe in higher powers, just not religion. And I'm cool with all that. But why do we have to even go through names? Just tell me why you do what you do. How does it make you feel? Because if it makes you feel good, I'm all for it, for you. I'm all for it. This is why we have a tough time with religion, because everybody wants to try to convert somebody when conversion should not be the issue. Education should always be the issue. When we do this show, Roy, John, Trina, Ray, my whole management team, they got one issue. They got marching orders they tell me to go by. Solution based. When people send you problems, if you're going to have a discussion about it, come up with solutions. Don't just sit there and give a list of problems, but don't ever come up with an answer. Because then I'm only adding to the problem. And that's what we're all doing. We're just adding to the problem by simply doing nothing but talking about it with no solution. So if religion works for somebody, let them have it. If they believe that prayer changes things, let them pray. Just don't try to force other people to do what you do if you haven't had the conversation. And if it's that touchy conversation, you shouldn't even do it around them, because if they're your friends or they're people who you deem to be good people to learn from, have the conversation, but be open-minded. There are lots of things as we get into sex and politics that people don't do or don't want to do, but don't knock other people for it. I will never knock a person for being religious. Never, ever. I won't knock a person for being an atheist. They have to do what works for them. That is the only way that any of this works. Anything else is BS. And this is where we have to come to have a meeting of the minds and not be condescending, not be disrespectful. Okay, I'm gonna say that for politics. So that's the part where we got to do better if we're gonna start doing better as a people, if we're going to start doing better as a race. We do not have to all come together as one and have the same thought, unless the thought is for being better. But the individual thoughts to get us there can be personal, can be very different, can be vastly different. And that's the way it has to be. I've talked before about, everybody talks about multiple streams of income. You have to have multiple ways of winning. If you don't, when the first one stops, what happens? You lose and you give up because you don't have, and it's not necessarily a backup plan, but backup plan works for me. Plan B, plan C, alternative options, whatever you want to call it. But you don't have to be singularly focused on one way of getting it done if there may be other ways. And understand, again, see, if the power go off, if the computer, I got my computer, it don't work. Well, the plug ain't in. Come on now. Let's not be asinine. And just put the plug in. That's the solution to the problem. I don't need them doing how am I gonna do a diagnostic if there's no power? Once I put the power, everything works. Boom, solution solved. Now, if the power's in, there are different things you can go through, but sometimes some answers are very basic and they are simple. Most things, the answers are simple. We just overlook them because we don't trust our instincts. We're more afraid of being wrong than we are of being right. So we will take the path of least resistance because it's easier for lots of people to wallow in self-pity than to try to be victorious. See, I'm competitive by nature. Excuse me. I want to win. I want to be right. But I also want to be educated. My need to be right does not trump my need for us to do better. We can be Catholic. We can be Muslims. We can be Christians. We can be Jewish. We can be whatever it is. We can pick a religion. All of us can do it. And the more outlets we have, the more options that we have, because we got people of so many different faiths, somebody can bring something to the table. The team is stronger. The team is stronger if you have more strong members. See, oh, I'm a team of one. It sounds cute to this guy. It's dumb. So when you get sick, what happens to the team? I don't get sick. Yeah, whatever. What's the brag about being a team of one? Nobody wants to partner up with you. Man, you got to move by yourself these days. Who has that ever worked for? Who has moved by themselves and got anything done? I mean, just give me 2 examples. Anybody. Because everybody you'll name need other people. You cannot succeed without other people. That's just my perspective. I ain't seen it happen. I ain't seen it. Sometimes you got to let some people go. Sometimes you got to embrace people that you wouldn't normally embrace. But you cannot just keep half-assedly thinking that you can make this happen by yourself. It's just not the way of the world. It makes little to no sense for us to keep trying to act like this will make things happen. Hey, Patricia, Charles, Omar, Nadia, hope I pronounced that right. Welcome to the show. So when we're doing this, this is where the options come up. This is where we have to have the minds expanded. So that's it about religion. There's not a whole lot about religion. Sex, same thing. If you're going to have an inner circle or a closed circle, there's certain things that should not be taboo in your educational or growing stage. I don't even get it. Some people don't even do this in their relationship phase, and I'm confused. Excuse me, that's a little parched there. Ooh, that's kind of strong. Everything ain't for everybody. What ain't for you ain't for you to judge for other people. I have gay friends. I have friends who do poly. I have friends who pretty much do every walk of life. It works for them. What's up, Gayla? Even though you're on the wrong page again, Gayla, quit playing before you get in. If I'm gonna have to put you in timeout, you know what to come to, Gayla. Come on, come on, come on. All right. So when you got people who don't do what you do, learn from them. Do they look happy? See, if they look happy, then why would you judge whatever it is they're doing harshly? It's making them happy. Who doesn't want to be, if you can't happy, who don't want to see people in their circle happy? Why do we like being around little kids? Because when they get that little giggle, that little laugh out, it's infectious. Because they're so happy, and it's pure, unadulterated happiness for no reason whatsoever. Why not want that? Even if somebody believes in something different than you, if it ain't illegal or immoral in your standards, why judge them on it? They're happy. Bask in their happiness. Celebrate it together. You will find that when you celebrate other people's happiness, they'll celebrate your happiness, because most people want this to be a shared thing. Nobody wants to talk to somebody who's always sad or depressing, because you're sapping their energy. Most people want to share their energy with people. They want to share the good vibes with people. That's why we like to hug. That's why humans need touch. Humans need touch. Look at the studies they've done on babies who the parent never touches, how they start shriveling up. Even though they're being fed, they're getting everything else. The lack of human contact, the touching, is important to our race. People want this. People want this. Why is it that we touch upon greeting? We shake hands, we hug, we get a rub, whatever it is. That contact is there. So people who engage in different types of sex, they're craving that contact. They may need a little bit more. It may not be for you. It may not be for you. Then that's okay. But why not other people who do it, especially if they seem to be happy? Because damn, ain't it crazy? How many, according to y'all, how many married people seem unhappy? How many people in relationships seem unhappy? So maybe they should think about trying something different. Try multiple relationships. Boy, try no relationship. Try something different. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, that's called insanity. Now, I ain't telling y'all to do nothing crazy. I'm just saying, don't limit your ability to enjoy life or knock other people because of something that you don't do. If you're good with it, we're great with it. Do what makes you happy. But in the process, learn what other people do. Learn why certain things make them happy. Learn, I'm torn between, do I want to jump out of an airplane? I was in the Air Force. That part of me says, hell no. I was in the military. I ain't never jumped out of a plane, never even had a thought. But I'm looking at some of these other people. They like they're having big fun. Do I want to try that? Do I want to be happy? I do. I just don't think I want to be that happy. I think I'm cool with a limited happiness. But again, whose option is that? It's mine. It's mine. I ain't gonna tell nobody they need to play sports. I ain't gonna tell nobody they need to do a podcast, a radio show, or whatever it is. Do what brings you happiness. Every now and then, try something outside the box to see if you like it. Try a cruise. I don't have nobody to go with. Go by yourself. Why not? Go to Vegas. Go to the mountains. Take a gun. Go to the beach. But go somewhere and see what you like that's beyond your scope of things that you've already done. If you've never done it, How can you legitimately say that you like or don't like it? You like the idea of it. You see the little postcards. Hell, some of these postcards with snow looks awesome. I want to play in the snow. But I consider moving to Colorado. And I'm still going to visit. Everything comes with a negative. Everything comes with a positive. You know, I love these sheets of paper. I'm always telling y'all to get a sheet of paper. When there's confusion about what you want to do, write down the pros and cons. Write down the pros and cons. What's good about this? What's bad about this? And if you got more pros and cons, go for it. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and it's the same. Don't judge nobody for something you ain't done, even if, oh, I would never do this. I want you to think back in life to when you were a little boy, a little girl. And for some of y'all, that's a long, long time ago. But just think back. How many times have you said there was something that you would never do that you've done? Because we change, we evolve, we grow. Sometimes we digress, but we still change, and it's okay to have that. But don't be so stuck. Don't be so stuck in the mud. Don't be so stuck in your ways that you can't appreciate what somebody else is doing. Don't be so stuck that you want to bring shit or shame to somebody because they're doing something that you can't do, won't do, scared to do, whatever. Let them enjoy life. If it ain't hurting you, your family, or us as a people, let them do it. Let them do it. When we get to politics, it's politics season. These damn robocalls, all these crazy ass pieces of mail we getting. Politics is a very personal thing. And people love to, again, give out misinformation. Now, we could sit here all day and talk about who to vote for. To me, and that's wrong. What you can do is you can tell why you want to vote for a candidate. But why challenge who anybody else wants to vote for? Everybody's priorities ain't the same. I'm sitting here now, and I could pull 5, 6 people and tell them to write down their top 10 things that are on their political agenda and see if we share the same things. And some of them we're probably going to share, but we're not going to share them in the same order because we're different. People with kids look at things different than people without kids. Married people look at things a little bit differently than single people. Black people look at things a little bit different than white people versus brown people versus everybody looks at something different. So the whole notion of with politics, we got to come together and we got to do one something will never happen. Never happen. Nobody does it. What we have to do is have an agenda. An agenda means several action items, not one, not two, have several. Life is about give and take. Some things you're going to get, some things you're not. If you don't have anything to negotiate with, you're going to spend your life perpetually losing because you keep going with a single mindset that you only want something. And sometimes that works depending on what it is you're doing. But in politics, you know, I've been in a few groups and everybody want to keep talking about politics. And, you know, they love to bash whoever it is they don't like. And every time, you know, they bash Obama, I listen and I ask him, what is it that he said he was going to do that he didn't do? 8 years. 8 years. What is it that he said he was going to do that he didn't do? The common answer I get is he didn't do nothing for black people. But he never said that. You do realize he was the president of the United States, not the president of colored people, not the president of black people. He didn't do nothing. Well, who passed a law that got Arbery's people convicted? That's what he did, but you don't know this because you're so busy wanting to spread misinformation, and you'll say he didn't do nothing. Well, he bailed out the car industry. He shouldn't have done that. Do you realize how many auto workers there are to make all them people unemployed at a time when the world was already tanking? Would have been tantamount to suicide. But when you got your own personal agenda and you want to be taken care of, because a lot of black people work the auto industries. So if you shut all three of them down, which means you're going to end up shutting down the people who make all these parts for these cars, you killing a lot of stuff, lots of stuff. Because remember, or don't remember, we were going through a fake war over weapons of mass destruction that never existed. Gas prices was going through the roof. But why talk about that when your whole thing is to destroy somebody? And this is one of the things that when it comes to politics, Malcolm said the battle of the bullet. And people try to change his meaning to try to tell you what they mean, like they try to tell you what everybody means, because you can't comprehend on your own. When you don't vote, you lose the right to complain. When you don't vote, you lose the right to try to change anything, because you have already said, I'm okay with other people deciding for me. Because even if you don't like any candidate, and let's take president, because there's only two. If you don't like either one and you don't vote, well, you got to accept whatever happened. You don't have a complaint. Oh, well, I didn't like neither one of them. Well, sometimes you're not going to like the options. You got to pick. You got to pick. Because everything ain't made just for you to succeed simply because. So sometimes you have to do a little bit of work. Sometimes you may have to hustle a little bit harder. Sometimes the struggle is real. So what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? Which is why you need a list of options so that you can make an informed decision. You can't just have one, something, or maybe two, because then you are easily dissatisfied when only your two things don't go your way. This ain't like going home and asking your spouse to make you a certain meal. Yeah, you don't want to give them 10 things that makes, hey, babe, can you make some, can you make a salad this evening? Bam. See, you help narrow her choices down. So you just say, hey, whatever. Because, it's kind of like when women tell us they want something to eat and we ask them what they want and they say, whatever. See, that's too many. That's the wrong time. There's a right time for this. Religion, sex, and politics do not require total agreement. Sex does when you got your partner. That's it. I don't want y'all getting in trouble trying to blame me. But we got to be more open-minded to listening to the different ways that people make decisions, the decisions they make, and their whole thought process, which does not have to be our thought process. Well, how'd you get to that? Why'd you get to that? Learn them. And then you learn more about yourself, because they just might impart you with some information that you had no idea about before, or you didn't have all the correct information. You had bits and pieces, which is what we deal in a lot. There have been times when we've had conversations and Ro pop in and give me some information that, when it's technologically savvy at first. I have 2-3 computers set up where I can be researching stuff while I'm doing the show. I can do a little bit of that now. But Roy knows a lot about things that I only had a limited knowledge of. I was on a show and I was on The Overflow, the Everyday People show. It comes on Tuesday from 7 to 9, I think. Check it out. Check it out. He likes to have people on there to hear different opinions. I was on The Overflow with some friends, and the host asked me to come on strictly because of my knowledge of law enforcement. And here I am. Don't get it twisted. I know my job. I'm pretty good at this whole law enforcement thing. I know how to read. I know how to do this. And I'm being challenged about law enforcement things by somebody who has no clue. And he's making misstatement after misstatement after misstatement. And, it ain't my job to keep trying to show you up. But at some point, if you know you don't know, listen to somebody who knows and is telling you right, as opposed to telling me what you believe or thought when you're consistently being wrong over and over and over again, because you're trying to prove a point that's not valid. See, switching to politics. If you don't like a politician, you're well within your right not to vote for somebody simply because you don't like them. It is your vote. It is your vote. You do what you want. You do as you want to with it. But treat your vote like a bullet. Make it count. Don't just waste bullets. And it's like football. You don't need to hold on to the timeouts if the game is close. Use them. Why lose a game with 3 timeouts in the bag and you lose because the clock ran out? The ballot or the bullet. Use your vote wisely. If you don't know, ask people you trust. Don't ask one, but ask them about certain candidates. Most people will willingly tell you who they will vote for. They'll give you that. I'm not a fan of that. Ask them why they're voting a certain way. Ask them what's important and then who embodies that, and then see what's important to you. So let's just say, and I'm gonna be the devil on both sides of this. If I tell you I'm gonna vote for Brian Kemp because I like the way he stood up to Donald Trump with the whole election denier thing, that's what's important to me. If I tell you I'm gonna vote for Brian Kemp because I'm not a big fan of this whole transgender in sports thing, that's what's important to me. If I say, hey, well, I'm gonna vote for Stacey Abrams because I'm not a fan of the government having anything to do with abortions or whatever reason, listen to what the reasons are that people are telling you and see if any of those apply to you. Don't just, if I say I'm gonna vote for Stacey Abrams because she's black or because she's a woman, then that's insanity. The last presidential election, I had somebody who was claiming to be a political aficionado, and he was telling me about one of the independent candidates who was running. I looked her up. Very pretty woman. How do you run for president of these United States without a vice president? Oh, she got this agenda though. She want to do things. She want to help out black people. She doesn't have a vice president. How do you run a campaign? This is kind of important because they run on the same ticket. You can only be one person. The president needs to have a vice president. How is she running and don't know this? But she's very pretty. If in your simple mind you want to vote for somebody based on looks, ballot or the bullet, use it wisely. I ain't gonna tell you it's wrong. It just doesn't make sense to me to vote for somebody strictly because of their looks. You don't like Stacey Abrams because she's gay. Religion, sex, and politics. They intersect in so many different places. But I want somebody who looks like me, who acts like me, who doesn't challenge me, which is what a lot of people do. I will give the bulk of my friends credit. I give them shout outs all the time. I got people on my timelines. I got people on Random Thoughts with DVP who will go at me wholeheartedly and argue with me in a respectful manner. And I appreciate what they bring to the table because they require that I do research. I can have an opinion on certain things, but when I start saying things are factual, they require something from me. They require me to provide proof of my facts or where I'm getting this from. And very rarely will you ever hear me say, you can look it up yourself. No, if you want to contradict me, you can look that up yourself and give me opposing dialogue. But I'm willing to share my information. I'm willing to share. And this is where we have to become better as a people, knowing who does what. If we want something, how do we go about affecting change if we don't know what the change is we are trying to affect and who is the change agent? Why would I go to the governor for a new tire? Why would I go to Walmart about having my street paved? Too many times we like to go to the wrong person and bitch and moan and whine. But then we say, well, did you ever bring it up? Who said they was going to do something about the streets? Well, nobody. So why are you mad that the streets ain't getting done? Well, they know what needs to be done. Well, did you tell them? Now they can see, is it a problem? Is it something everybody else thought somebody was doing? Nobody brought it up. But did somebody bring it up and they said, no. This is where we have to be way more informed about what it is we're doing while we're doing it. This is why we cannot keep sitting back and hating from the sidelines, talking about who ain't for us. This is where we have to learn that being pro-Black does not mean being anti-white. We have to start accepting these things when we look at who we're doing stuff for. Now, if you are in a pro-Black environment, then yes, everything your pro-Black environment is doing should be pro-Black, not anti-white, pro-Black. But when you are looking at federal government, when you are looking at state government, it's not for whites or Black. Well, they always doing stuff for them. Well, they get out with an agenda. What is our agenda? Are we taking our agenda to the right person? What do you want? You want safe streets? Well, what does it take to get safe streets? See, that's not a governor agenda. The governor, as a rule, is in charge of the state patrol, and sheriffs answer to the governor. If something happens, he can replace the sheriff. Police chiefs don't answer to the governor. So are we talking local or county? So these are the things that you have to know, and that we have to talk in a language that they understand, so that we are speaking about the same subjects, which is we like to speak emotionally, oftentimes irrationally, and we get off script. And people will let us vent, but that's all they take it for, is venting. Sometimes they even write, but what they write, they just scribbling. They're scribbling. Because when we get a moment to stand up and shine, to say what it is we want from them, we don't ask them for anything. You get a moment to go before the city council, to go before one of these meetings where something is done, and in your 5 minutes of fame, all you whine about is what they have not done. Well, they ask you what you want. You want to tell them what they ain't done. They know what they ain't done. So when your 5 minutes is up, you ain't gave them nothing to do. Oh, but they heard what I was saying. They can fix that. Well, you didn't offer them no ways to fix it. You just told them that they weren't shit. And how many people will let you tell them they ain't shit and they don't want to help you out? Ladies, gentlemen, in the dating process, when we find somebody that we're attracted to, do we give them the worst things about them to try to woo them? Do we show them the worst side of us to try to woo them? Or do we go with the, you get more flies with honey than you do with shit? This is where we have to learn the art of war. This is where we have to learn the art of winning. This is where we have to learn negotiation skills. See, I could sit here and I got a foul mouth, trust me. I can curse a whole lot. But who's listening if all I'm doing is a ton of cursing over and over and over again? Who cares? Because even if you want to hear what I got to say, I'm losing you, because lots of people don't like that. Lots of people won't like that. So why do I do it? Oh, I'm just being me. Well, what is my goal in life? Is my goal in life to be me? Or is my goal in life to get something done? How do we get there? Why do we get there? So when all is said and done, what's next? How do we get there? How do we get here? How do we get a meeting of the mind so we can come up with a viable solution that will have an effect on everyone, or for the masses, or for the masses that vote? How do I respect somebody who openly tells me that they don't vote, but they have an opinion about what I should do with my vote? I'm confused. I don't get how it can happen. How can I help you? Many people have said, yo, D, man, I can't believe I want to do a radio show. I want to do a podcast. Hey, I'm more than happy to help you. I'm more than happy to talk about your show on my show. I'm more than happy to help you get set up. I will do an interview with you, for you, or to you, however it is we need to get you comfortable, like Roy did with me. I had never done this. He reached out. He taught me about the dead space. I use it now strategically, but I can't do a lot of you know what I mean? And that's not an easy thing to get past. to become proficient with speaking, not having a whole lot of hesitation and not stumbling as you're trying to get a message across, because dead air kills. It makes time go super slow and everybody's waiting for somebody to say something, which is why there's certain subjects I get guests for. They're more passionate, they're more knowledgeable. When I get some people, I want to come on, I want y'all to talk about politics. Let people ask questions. Let me ask y'all questions that people tell me. Because people will hit me in my inbox. They may hit me on my cell. They'll text me and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Let me find some experts. Let me find some people who know more than me. Is that you? Let me check out your page, see. Because what I don't want is a bunch of confrontation. What I don't want is people making crass statements and then getting upset when they're being challenged. I've had people who come on here and they want to challenge, or they want to talk down to women. They want to talk down to black people. They want to talk down to people. That's not going to happen. I'm a protector of women. That's who I am. So, and it doesn't change. Are women ever wrong? Of course they are. That doesn't mean they should be assaulted, insulted. And if they insult you, I'll check them too. I've deleted comments, I've reached out to people, I've blocked people for being disrespectful. There's no need for it. I can disagree with you. I can even be sarcastic, but what I won't be is disrespectful. So when we're doing the whole thing, when we talk about religion, sex, and politics, there's nothing to be disrespectful about. If somebody doesn't share your viewpoint or you don't share theirs, and there's nothing else to be learned, nothing else to be educated about, then discontinue the conversation. But know that you're slamming doors on yourself, and you could have learned something, whether you applied it or not. But you get to know how another people think about something. This helps you in your relationships, be they business, be they personal, because now I have a clue as to why certain people do this or do that. Where in my own little bubble, I don't know, because I'm not educated enough. I'm letting my ignorance pass for arrogance. I don't want to hear anything they got to say. Oh, you can't change my mind. It ain't about changing your mind, it's about enlightening you. That's all. So that when the conversations come up, you are not just stuck with a limited knowledge base because you chose ignorance. You know, there's a guy now who just put out, before I came on, he put out that there's a 48-to-1 ratio in Atlanta for women to men. Insanity. Since the census says there's like 1.2 million women and 1 million guys, how does that equate to 2-to-1, 3-to-1, much less 40? He used the article title, but even in the article it says what it ain't. And you know, I'm built for some of these conversations. Oh, you gotta remember, there's a bunch of gay men in Atlanta, so that's gonna change the numbers. It's a bunch of gay women in Atlanta, so that too will change the numbers. The only way you're gonna get 40-to-1 ratio is in prison, jail. It's more men in jail than women. So even then, it's gonna be in a woman's favor. For every 100 women in jail, there's 1,000 men. And that's what, 10-to-1? So, you know, we got to quit passing off this misinformation in those 3 categories: religion, sex, politics, just to try to get a point across that's wrong. Because we'll stand behind wrongs with our dying breath. We will stand behind it like it ain't nobody's business. I don't know why that's something that we stick our feet in the sand about. And the sole purpose is to try to influence minds to think what we think, not to have their own independent thinking, because they love to tell you, oh, you got to do the research yourself. You got to think for yourself. And then when you do, they tell you all your thinking, all your research is wrong. How does that work again? So you tell me to think for myself. You tell me to read. I go through and do all this. And now I'm wrong for doing all this. Oh, because I didn't read what you read, But when I asked you to share yours, you told me I could go find it. So I went and found it. I put in the search bar, whatever the topic is, and bam, this is what it says. I'm looking for consistency. What are most of the articles about? Oh, you can't trust mainstream media. Okay, so go to some backdoor medias, not YouTube. Anybody. I'm doing the show right now. I can say at, where's my little clock? At my 51 minute mark, DVP said the president of the United States of America in 2022 is Obama. So now somebody gonna put that. See, look right here. See, somebody said it. Just because somebody said it don't mean it's factual. It just means that's what they said. Come on, people. Let's do better. Let's be open to argument. Let's not, and here's the dig. Let's not go to other shows and start trying to call people clowns or other things. You wouldn't do it to their face. Let's stop being disrespectful behind people, because everybody wants something and everybody said about this, but your whole thing is built on being disrespectful and it makes no sense. What's up, DJ? And this is what we push, but then we want it. Oh, you only see me do it. What does that mean? I ain't got to see you do it. You know you did it. And I did see you. You did a little podcast trying to talk trash. It's not required that you agree with me. Just bring some intelligent argument to the conversation. What's up, DJ? See, DJ, my buddy, she got a show coming on after this. Tea Time. She ain't made the group open yet, so y'all can just join. But she gonna have some things. Then when I leave here, I'm going there and I'm gonna defend the black woman, because that's what I do. Because DJ got some issues with some people saying stuff, and DJ gonna come on the show when we talk about. I think I'm gonna do it next week when we talk about the relationship myths. Because I like to ask regular people real questions. See, a lot of times we ask people, we ask questions because they're gonna answer for us. They're gonna give us the right answer. They're gonna give us the answer they think we want. Well, I don't need that. I like people who will answer questions openly and honestly, regardless as to how I may take their answer. See, then we can have a legitimate conversation. Then we can have an informative conversation. See, yeah, I'm through with the other one. But, and I say this is one of the things I say, fellas, we all say what we do when we're dating. If you want to know what men do when they're dating, you got to ask women. They know. Women can't say what they do. Women can't say, D can't tell me what women do on dates. D can't tell me what D does. I can tell D what women do because I dated women. Now, and I'm just using D because she's my partner. But if D dated women, then she could tell me what women do when they date women. See, this is how we got to start increasing our knowledge base, because, you know, one guy dates a woman, one woman dates a man, and then the next thing you want to say is all women, it's all, hey, but you picked them. Come on now. Accountability and responsibility. So when you want to be educated, when you want to be informed, you want to learn to make better decisions, you have to have a bigger wealth bank of knowledge. You have to have a bigger wealth bank of information so that you can start making decisions based on not just your experiences, but things you've heard, things other people have told you, things that you've seen or read about. Start seeking some validation so you'll know if it's legitimate or not. See, social media has made pseudo heroes out of a lot of us because we say things on social media that are not legitimate IRL in real life, because we want to be Facebook activists, we want to be Facebook gangsters, we want to be Facebook this, we want to be social media whores. So we'll say certain things. We'll complain about certain things that are not legitimate because we're trying to influence a group of people. See, I'm going to use D again because D is my buddy. D married, I'm married, so don't none of y'all take this to heart. But if I'm trying to win D's affection, I'm going to keep making posts about how great a guy I am, how women are missing out on this. That is not how it's done. But I'm trying to influence somebody with BSery. So now D go out and meet a guy and she married him. Oh, D, you messed up a good thing. You could have had this and this and this. Well, how did she mess up a good thing if she happy? Maybe I wasn't the best thing for D. We got to get past that concept of thinking that everything that we do, say, or think is always right. See, I had a friend who said, yeah, man, yeah, I should have got with this one. She was the one. Why'd you let her go? Well, my mind wasn't right. Well, then she wasn't the one. See, because when she was right for you, your mind was somewhere else. So she wouldn't have been the right one. You would have abused her. You would have used her. And that's what we don't get a lot of times. At 57, who I am at 57 is not who I was at 47. It's not who I was at 37. So even if I dated a great girl at 37, my 37-year-old person was not good for her. So, she was a good woman. I was not a good man for her, and I was okay with that. I let her go, and that's what we don't get. No, he didn't send his representative. He was a different person then. So the person he was then was not good for the woman who was mature and ready to settle down at that point. I'm glad that he did not settle down with her just because then he would have been wasting her valuable time as he grew into manhood. Sometimes growth comes from losing something. And we have to accept that, because I think that at some point, most of us have missed somebody from our past. But when they were great for us, we weren't great for them. Or when we were great for them, they weren't great for us. Time does what time does. And it's okay to look back and think about what could have been. But when you reflect, remember where your mind was. Remember where your thought processes were. Remember what kind of person that you really were back then. That changes who you are now. Yeah, if I would have met some of them women at 57, but who knows? Would I have been the same? Would they have been the same to me? Because I changed, it would have changed. We can't say at 57, oh yeah, that girl I was dating when I was 37, I wish she was around now. She's probably a different person now too. Her situation, her circumstances, her experience have changed. Would she be the same person? Would she? See? Again, I can use D. D came along to the sheriff's department later, and I'm not sure what she heard about me. I ain't gonna ask because I don't want to own one. But when I first came to the sheriff's department, people who knew me as a hellraiser and a rebel rouser. I don't know why, because I wasn't, but I was always confrontational to the system because the system was disrespectful. I didn't ask people to join me because most people had something to lose. I had no family. I had no kids. So I could go out and fight for myself. They could reap the benefits. When I got kids, I stopped doing some of that. Not because it wasn't still true. It's just because I couldn't keep taking suspensions and stuff like I was doing when I was single. I had other people to think about. So who they met was the same person. I just adapted to my circumstances because now my decisions weren't solely for me. They were for the collective, and I was responsible for that collective. And when we do things, we have to realize who we were may or may not be who we are. If we're lucky, we are not the same person that we were 10 years ago. There should have been, in my mind, some substantial growth, but at least some growth. Right? See, and I actually was quiet, even though people thought I was it. And I did. I didn't even fight a lot, which is funny. I just was a good fighter. But I didn't fight a lot, and I didn't fight in front of people. I didn't see a need. But we have to understand where we are now. Now, I'm a little bit more politically astute. What's going on, Antoinette? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you. I saw you speak, coming in with an exclamation point. Don't act. So now, now I'm much easier to talk to. I'm much easier to have personal conversations with. I was not this guy 10 years ago. I stayed to myself. Even when I was married, I stayed to myself. When I had an office, I never had personal pictures up. I never had diplomas, plaques, or anything. It was work. I didn't see the need to share my personal world with work. Why would I? This is work. They don't need to know nothing about me. And I remember, it's funny, at one of the meetings, we had introduced ourselves, and I was like, yeah, my name is Darren Bell. I've been with Sheriff's Department 12 years. That was it. Kevin's like, that's all you're going to say? Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. What else you want to know? Well, are you married? You got kids? And I'm like, why do y'all need to know that? This is work. I just told y'all what y'all need to know about me and work. I've been here 12 years. Well, we want to be like a family. That's cute. I don't want to be part of your family. This is work. But that was my mentality. Yeah, it's still my mentality. Work is work. What I do on my time is geared toward me. And if people are cool with that, then fine. We can still do certain things, but I still don't ask a lot of personal questions unless the conversation is a personal conversation. I let things flow organically. And in that process, when we are, as they say, I'm not the same person I was a year ago, much less years ago, you have to accept that change, some for the good, some for the bad. But we are changing. Like I say, evolution, because we should all be evolving. Sometimes evolution wasn't as great as we wanted to be. Some of us, as we get older, become a little bit more cantankerous. Some of us become friendlier. Some of us become a little gentler. Everybody does something different, but you are a different person. If you are the same person, if you think you're the same person that you were 4 or 5 years ago, I can be honest and tell you, you make me nervous. If you haven't grown in that time, there's an issue that I see, even if you think you're a great person. What you think about yourself ain't what I got to think about you. Not going to happen. But I hear you. And we love to tell people how great we are versus letting people tell us how great we are. That I can't even call it simple arrogance. The conceit level that some people push on you to try to make you see them as a great person is asinine. I wasn't for everybody. Everybody should not like me. As Dee said, I was super quiet back then. Some people equate quietness to sneaky. Guess what? I was extra effing sneaky too. But I had an issue with management. I didn't know who I could trust. I felt the need to talk to nobody because I don't want to be rude to anybody. I just don't want to be friendly to them. But as far as work goes, I'm going to give you this. When I got to teach, I didn't teach one group good stuff and the other group I didn't like bad stuff. I taught everybody the exact same. This was business. This was business. But when people say, hey man, how can I get with you after work? I'll give my email. Why don't you calling me? Calling me is for people who I'm cool with talking to. I want to talk to everybody. I'm only going to ask you your number if I want to talk to you. Other than that, whatever it is you need, I can wait till you're at work to get. It ain't that serious. But there should be growth. And as we grow, I see I got my Soul Patrol shirt on. Soul Patrol. We should have a Soul Patrol where we can come together as a collective and discuss issues that would make us as a collective better, not us individually, not what's good for Darren, not what's good for Dee, not what's good for Antoinette or Gayla or Vase. What would be good for all of us? And it's going to be a few different things. And somebody's not going to be happy with the prioritization. And that's okay, because life says you won't always get what you want, but you need to have some ingredients there that we can pick from. And this is where we should start a Soul Patrol and have some actionable agenda items. What is good for our race? This is where we have to lead the race. This is where we have to be the masters of our own fates and destiny. When we start talking about, everybody want reparations. I'm good with that, because there's no way to equally dole out reparations because we still don't understand equality versus equity. But in my world, one of the most important things that Black neighborhoods need is mental health facilities. See, but we're in denial about mental health, so we don't want that. In my world, as a Black man, I think that we need better child care facilities. I do think it should be. I think that single mothers should get free child care for 5 years. But see, that ain't a good thing for a Black man. That's supposed to be a woman's agenda item. But again, as a Black man, and I'm married now, understand that, fellas, if you are trying to date a single woman who has the struggle of trying to keep up with her child and childcare, she becomes that much more unavailable to you because she's struggling to pay childcare. She's struggling to pay rent. She's struggling to take care of basic things. If one of those is taken care of for her ahead of time, It makes her a little bit freer to go out and seek Mr. Right or be available for Mr. Right. She needs time. If you are a single male, which the numbers are growing, same thing with you. There's certain things that should be basic in my mind. But this is where we get a think tank, a soul patrol, if you will, for people who want to make our, not mine, not your, our situations better. This is where we need realistic options that work. See, we need black banks. Why do we need black banks? If you do your research, there are black banks and credit unions already out there. We don't use them now. So why do we need more if we don't use what's out there? There are several black financial institutions. 3 or 4 of them are actually pretty good. They do not have to be in your state. Just look them up. There are some great black financial institutions. But somebody came on with a funky beat on a bass line and told y'all to put all y'all money in one that ain't black. They just got blacks in the commercials. It's not FDIC insured, but he said do it. And ask yourself, what have they done? While we holding politicians responsible for things that they never said, you're putting your money in places where people told you they was going to do something for you. That Greenwood Trust Bank that's been around for 2-3 years now, can anybody name a scholarship? Can anybody name a feed the hunger drive they do, a book bag drive they do? Can anybody name anything that this Greenwood Bank has done? I work at a credit union. My mom was in banking. I've talked to people who do financial stuff. It makes no sense what they're doing to us, but everybody know about them because they got some figureheads. They threw us some symbols and bam, we ran to them. Or did they run to us? And we got hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray even. Why? Why? Because that's what we do. If somebody tells us something, we take them at their word for it, and that's okay. But at some point, they have to prove it. And this is where we have to demand better. This is where we have to demand better. And most of these things are Googleable. But this is where we have to do our thing. And then when they don't, move your money somewhere where somebody gonna do something for you. Life ain't that hard. But just Tri-State Bank of Memphis, black bank. City First Federal Bank, black. Russell and Company. Optus, OPTUS Bank. Gold Setter. They're out there. Go look and see what they're doing. Go look and see what they're doing. I forgot, and there's one in DC because I was going to send someone up there and open one. But these things we got to do, but we got to look at our neighborhood versus ourselves. Now, don't get it twisted. You should benefit, not necessarily profit, but you should benefit for this. And where we benefit, when I say that single parents should get child care, when I say that we need more mental health facilities, the sooner we accept that we need mental health access and affordability in our neighborhoods, the easier we can start to get along, the easier we can start dealing with trauma head on and not letting it get to a slow boil. It won't affect me immediately, but it will affect my kids. It will affect my family, because now I ain't gonna have people who walk around with a mental illness thinking about killing people and nobody has diagnosed them or even tried to help them. What's up, Robert Stafford? I was just talking about your show a little while ago, sir. But these are the things that we have to do, as opposed to always judging and putting ourselves first. If I keep putting myself first, Robert keep putting himself first, DJ keep putting herself first, Antoinette keep putting herself first, we ain't gonna never get nowhere because everybody's trying to get their own personal agenda in. We have to look at what's good for the cause. We need a soul patrol to look out for us. Does not need to be one individual. It needs to be a collective of individuals. And I stand by this. I repeat this over and over and over. A collective is, and I'm just using this, me, Robert, D, Antoinette, Base. See, we all got a different audience. If we come up with some ideas, everybody takes the group of ideas to their audience and see what the audience like. And then I can come back and say what my audience likes, because they might not all like my ideas. They just might be my audience. So they got to prioritize. Robert's audience is going to have priorities. D's audience is going to have priorities. So as we put our information together, we can see what's a priority for the Black community. Because sometimes we don't know until somebody tells us what we need because we hadn't thought about it. So sometimes it's okay to shut up and listen. It's okay for somebody to give you some information that you did not know. It's okay for somebody to say something, you're like, damn, I like that idea better than mine. It's okay. It's okay. And we get this soul patrol, people who are looking out for our best interests. We have to acquiesce to the program that is for the better good of us. But you only acquiesce when they have a system in place, not one little something. Lots of Black people want reparations. Is it a priority for everybody? No. Because every single idea that you come up with, you need to have a way to get it fixed. When I talked about changing the culture of police, I gave you guys a detailed list of things that could be done immediately, things could be done down the line. See, it's easy. See, if that's part of the Black agenda, address it. How do you slow down bad police? You have a file, public access for every use of force, for every complaint. Therefore, people can see this. So if I am a bad cop and I harass Robert, I'm a bad cop and I harass D, see, the street's gonna tell them don't say nothing. But if they can see where I got a pattern of this, it becomes that much more evident to everybody. Now, people who know me can start against me. Oh man, people are gonna say whatever they want to say. That's not my experience. But there are ways to stop bad cops. There are ways. But it starts from the outside, not the inside. The people will see more bad cops than cops will see bad cops. This is what we got to understand when we're building this soul patrol to make us better. Do we want to have, one of my favorite things, do we want to have community courts? Not community policing, community courts, where Robert has his neighborhood when a little kid does something that's of a misdemeanor, not of a felony or high and aggravated nature. The community court can decide what the punishment is to keep these people out of the judicial system. Let's just say my son breaks Robert's window. Instead of Robert calling the police, and don't get it twisted, we're going to still get him involved. But because it's a misdemeanor, we're going to have community court. Community court decides that my son has to cut grass, and repay this window, keep him out of the system. So if he cuts the grass, apologizes to Mr. Stafford, and does all these things, then bam, who knows? Because now the system has been taken out of the equation. My son doesn't have to have a criminal record for juvenile behavior. And this happens with adults. It's not just for kids. It's easy for everybody. Antoinette says, I'm listening to you while installing hardwood floor. That's what's up. That's what's up. But this is easy. Let's just say I was doing something crazy. Drinking and sideswipe the mailbox. Same thing, as opposed to Antoinette calling the cops on me and having me locked up. The cop, who is the de facto parole officer, probation officer for the neighborhood, makes sure that whatever the community court imposes, I uphold. Now, if I decide I don't want to fix nothing, then yeah, I go to jail because they still need to be made whole. But we can take a lot of people out of the system by simply doing little things. We have to take back our community. Soul Patrol. We have to invest in our own villages. We have to sit back and sit down as a collective and see what our community needs. Then once we see that they need one, well, let's make it competitive. They need two hair and nail shops because we don't want somebody having a monopoly. We need a couple of grocery stores, a gas station, whatever. We do this and then we go out and support them. No need in going all the way across town. No need in going all the way somewhere else to support our own neighborhoods. But let's make sure that the businesses in our neighborhood cater to our neighbors. Let's make sure they do customer service. Soul Patrol, this is what we can do to make our situation better. And it cannot be a personal agenda item. It has to be what makes us better. What makes us better? How can we do this ourselves? Once we do it for ourselves, we become stronger as a voice because these are things that we can do. We've shown that we can manage ourselves. We've shown that we can live amongst each other and not tear our own shit up and not ignore each other. We've shown that we can make our neighborhood thrive. Everybody keeps talking about this Black Wall Street. We don't support our own neighborhoods now. Why are we talking about a Black Wall Street somewhere else over there? Because again, we're going to leave our neighborhood and go support somewhere else. Why not support our own neighborhood? But we got to have things that we want. What does the neighborhood want? Do we need a shoe shop where we can get our shoes fixed? Yes. Do we need a dry cleaners? Absolutely. Do we need a washerette? Absolutely. There are things that we can do inside our own community that we can become thriving. We got our own Soul Patrol, what we look out for each other in each and every community. But we have to accept that every decision that they make will not benefit the individual. It will benefit the collective. We have to stop being single-minded in who we want to thrive and succeed. We cannot be mad if the people at the laundrette make more than the people at the chicken and wing spot. That's not the process. But not only do we have to be able to be willing to listen, D, we got to be able to act. We have to have actionable items. See, a lot of times we want things that don't make sense for us where we are. I'm all for, please believe I'm all for new schools. It's not a high agenda item. I'd rather have a mental health facility. I'd rather have schools with better plumbing. These are things I don't need 12 parks. I don't need them. But I need to listen to what the people say. If the people think we need more schools and more parks, then I have to acquiesce and let them have that. But this is where we got to sit down at a meeting and be able to discuss the pros and cons of everything and see what is better for the collective. What is better for all of us so that we can live harmoniously. Can we do this? Can we police each other and still be friends? Can we make sure that our community is thriving and still be friends? Can we? Do we want to? Are we that capable? Yeah. Do we need a Cadillac dealership? No, I mean, there's some things we can do outside our neighborhood, but the basic things need to be in our neighborhood, and more importantly, they need to be affordable. Even if Walmart, we do need some big businesses to come in. People say, oh, we don't need no big business. Yes, we do. When we're looking at it realistically, for every small business owner, you are hiring small numbers of people. Your neighborhood is more than 12 people. We need the job. So there's nothing wrong with inviting big business in to give them that. So that, again, we can stay in our neighborhoods. And we can make this happen. But what we also have to understand that a lot of people don't want to accept, and this is the hard part about community court. Some people won't belong in our neighborhood. Some people will still be predatory, and they have to be removed. That's the hard part. But it has to happen. There's nothing that we're all going to agree on, but is somebody destructive? is somebody an anarchist, is somebody just not gonna follow the rules, then why do we keep them? Whether it's my son or Robert's son or Antoinette's son or Dee's son, problems have to go. And that's why a lot of times community courts and that concept won't work, because nobody's willing to make the hard decisions and say, hey, gotta go, gotta go. We need our own soul patrol. We need to be able to sit down and not have one or two leaders. We need a multitude of leaders, because we are a multitude of people. We do not always agree. And I thank you for not sending me to jail, Antoinette. I ain't going. But life would be so much easier. It's easier to have higher standards, higher morale. You feel better about yourself when you can do things for yourself. When you got a support group, when you got people who are on your team and y'all looking out for each other. Doesn't kill free enterprise. But a lot of us have friends who have businesses, yeah, and their prices are too high. Whether there's a recession or not, don't nobody want to overpay for nothing. If I start a shirt company and some of y'all love me to death, but you're not gonna buy no shirt from me, who would be willing to buy this shirt to show your support for me for $57.25? That's insanity. It's insanity. Ain't gonna happen. But if I can make sure we're gonna get these shirts and everybody gonna get one, then I need to try to find out where I can get them. Let's say at Walmart, they $18. Well, you may be willing to buy them from me if they $20. When I told people we should start investing in strip malls, because the numbers make sense. If all the vendors get together and buy the strip mall, their rent reduces, because now their rent goes to ownership, not to somebody who's trying to make a profit. But you cannot exclude the person who found the strip mall for you. You cannot think that everybody is going to share equally. It has to be equitable. The biggest shop's going to pay the most. Chances are the biggest shop is going to make the most. So if the shop makes $100,000 and there's 10 shops, everybody does not get $10,000. One of the owners put up $30,000. Guess what? They get 30%. That's equity. And that's what we got to understand, and stop trying to be equal on everything, because equality ain't all it's cracked up to be, especially for those true movers and shakers who put more into it to get it started. And this is where we have to start understanding how business works, how politics work, how the system works, what is good for us versus what is good for me. Is it better to have affordable prices and have to do things closer to home? Or is it better to keep complaining and waiting for reparations that ain't coming no time soon? Now, if we come up with a viable solution for reparations, let's present it. Let's present it. But guess what? That's a federal thing. So even if we come up with one, we got to get a shitload of senators and congressmen to buy off on it. There ain't somebody who can make it happen. We got to understand the whole system and how the system works. But this is where education is paramount, because when you don't know something, you can say something that makes sense to you and your limited knowledge. But when somebody says, oh no, we can't do it like that, it's got to go through this, it's got to go, because we don't have the old school cartoons. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And once you understand that, then we grew up with that. So we understood better how laws and things happen. Then somebody just go up there and sign something, so we're going to do this right now. But people don't want to hear that, because they want something right now. That right now mentality is what's going to kill us. That thinking that we know the answer to everything because we came up with a half-baked idea that our weed-induced smoking friends agree on, don't make it right. because we got fake conspiracy theories, because we know people who know people who know people who told us something that was top secret. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I challenge that process. People with top secret clearance don't walk around just talking to random people and giving up top secret information. But we got to look out for the collective. What's going to make the next generation better? What's going to make the generation after that betterer? We can't spend all our time just worried about self and nobody else. That's just not a good look. And from that, we can succeed. But we got to be willing to make concessions. We got to be willing to stop grouping everybody together. We got to be willing to separate the blacks from the niggas. Stop passing on outdated myths about, oh, white people always stick together. No, you don't. Who bringing the president down? White people. Nobody always sticks together. You stick together with people who are good for you. Yeah, they're going to have some loyalists because that's what do. There's always fanatics and zealots and people who want to stick together for whatever their own purpose is. But again, I am talking about doing what is good for the collective, not what is good for me personally, even though I may reap a benefit or two from it. That cannot be my whole goal. And that's all I'm saying. Y'all got any questions for me? I gotta get ready for another show, so I don't get jumped on. D is a bully, so she told me I had to on the show. D, your show starts at what time? Your show start? D, 8 o'clock. Is that right? Tea time. And I told y'all, overflow. Robert, you still here? Robert does overflow to everyday people. He lets strangers come on the show. I ain't there yet, but he want to hear. He want to hear from you. He does his on Tuesdays. Go check him out. The one something that we can do is promote each other. Let me say that one more time. The one something that we can do is promote each other. Not me go to Robert's show, just promote my show. We can promote each other. This is what we can do. There's nothing wrong with saying something good about somebody else, even if y'all are doing the exact same thing. What I started the show talking about, I started the show off talking about options. Some of y'all would probably like Robert's show better than mine. I can't see that happening because I'm just it. But that's a friendly competition. The better Robert's show is, then that means I got to raise my standard. The better my show is, Robert got to raise his standards. Who benefits from me and Robert raising our standard? The listeners. DJ got a show that's coming on next. Who benefits if D got to raise her bar? The listeners. D benefits. D get to say, yeah, you know, I'm in competition with DVP. We ain't trying to outdo each other in a malicious way. We just trying to outdo each other in a competitive, good way. And those are the things that we have to understand. What's up, HG Mason? Mason, my dude. He a Marine. Y'all know how I feel about Marines. He know how I feel about Marines. I have to call Mason every now and then and threaten the car. He still got a full head of hair, but that's a whole nother subject. But that's my boy. I know me and Mason don't even talk on a regular basis, but I do believe in my heart of hearts, if I call Mason, told him I need something, he gonna be there for me. Because Mason ain't the kind of person to ask for something. I don't just put it out there like that. And again, I done reached out to him a couple of times. It benefits the collective. It benefits the collective if we can all get together and come together and not just for the benefit of one. When I reach out to Mason, Mason knows, and I ain't talked to this brother in a minute, but he still took time out his day to reach out to me. Bam. When D asked me a question, I'm like, yeah, I'll make time. See, this is building the community that I keep harping on because I'm a big fan of this community, this village. You can't be a part of the village if you ain't putting nothing into it. All you're doing is taking out, taking out, taking out. You are destructive to the village. It's time for you to get the hell on. You're not bringing anything but a list of wants. What are you doing for the village? If we don't have uncomfortable conversations, what are we doing for the village? If we don't help each other out, what are we doing for the village? Now, I ain't saying blindly help nobody out. Help them out. You know who is who. Like I said, me and Mason been friends for a while. Man, we've been knowing each other over 30 years, ain't we? And we don't talk on a regular basis. But covertly, I keep up with that brother. I make myself available. I'm a little bit harder to keep up with because I like to go in my little cubby hole, and I done did the show about depression, so I understand why I do what I do. But I'm doing better about opening up. I'm doing better. But mental health, until I knew what was going on with me, I wasn't willing to share that because I did not know why something was wrong. Hell, I didn't know that something was wrong. But now I can accept it, embrace it, and I can tell my story. And I know why I don't do certain things, because certain things were unacceptable. And I still don't do them, but I know who I can do politically unacceptable things with now. Mental health is needed in our community. If we still believe that violence is love, then most of us need it. If we still believe that embarrassing each other is necessary and acceptable, we need it. We need to find more positive role models, male and female. They don't have to be mothers and fathers. It would work great if they are, but if they're not, we got to get positive role models. Mothers need help, no matter how great that some of them doing. They need help. Great fathers need help. I don't know anybody who has not had several moments of weakness where a helping hand meant a whole lot. A shoulder to cry on meant a whole lot. Somebody stepping in and helping them hold the weight of the world on their shoulders meant a whole lot. I remember, for those of y'all that know me well, when my mother was sick, very sick, and I stayed with her at the hospital. I had two people who would come and get me and drive me back and forth to work. I never asked them to, but they did it so I wouldn't have to drive. They gave me that time to rest, recuperate, to gather my thoughts without having to worry about driving back and forth to the hospital. I was so appreciated. I didn't know I needed that. I thought I was big and strong. I'm good, I can drive. But I wasn't. But there they were. Where y'all come from? Oh man, I came to get you. Because I didn't need to go to work. I wanted to go to work. Yes, I did. I needed to go because I needed to be away so I wouldn't always just looking over my money. It meant the world. All right, D, I'm coming over. And we don't understand, as Mason said, sometimes having someone call and check on you, it means the world. And that's why sometimes if you ain't doing anything, shoot a text. Shoot a text to people, just let them know they're on your mind. But every now and then, reach out and call. Make them answer the phone. Hear it in their voice how they doing. Trust me, I ain't finna do a whole show on depression, but there's nothing like hearing a voice. There's nothing like knowing somebody's gonna make you come out your comfort zone, because you can text me and I'm gonna tell you I'm doing great. I can text Mason, that's how you doing. I can text these, how you doing? But every now and then I just need to call them. I need to hear it in their voice. I need to hear happiness, lightness in their voice. I need to make sure they're not dragging. This is what we have to do for people that we call friends. This is what we have to do for people that we say we care about. This is definitely what we have to do for people that we say we love. Texting is great because I know everybody busy. Time is money, yada, 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 all that BS. But every now and then when you're stuck in traffic and you got your headpiece in or you got your phone hooked up to your car, reach out, call a brother, call a sister, call an auntie, call a friend. Hey, what's going on? I called Mason just to threaten him. We didn't talk about nothing meaningful. We didn't talk about the meaning of life or none of that shit. I called him just to threaten him. That was it. To let him know I didn't appreciate him having a head full of hair. That's it. We laughed. I felt better. He better have felt better. And that's it. Don't take a whole lot, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take a whole lot. So, and if you need a great drummer, Mason is a great drummer. If you got a little band or something, or if you want to, I don't know if he teaches people how to drum, and I don't know what he's doing. But, it's nothing to shout people out. It's nothing to share. I've been trying to pace myself and share something every Friday about somebody who I'm appreciative of that's in my life. It's free to publicize other people. It's okay to talk good about non-millionaires. It's okay to do a public thank you. We don't have to be so strong and whatever that all we talk about is this damn Kanye. All we talk about is Will and Jada. We know people that we can reach out and touch, that we can reach out and call, who mean the world to us. Say something good to them. Tag them on a post. Tell them how much you miss them, how much you appreciate them. Don't wait till they die and go to the funeral. It's like, man, I should have did this. Why couldn't you? How long does it take? I want to say they talk for 2 minutes. Well, we probably talk for 5 minutes. But shit, it is what it is. Take time, make it happen. If you care. If you don't care, because there are people I would never call. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But there are family members I would never call. That's a choice I have to live with. All right, so if y'all ain't got no questions, y'all got any questions, comments, or concerns I need to speak on? I say, getting ready for DJ show, Tea Time with DJ. I'm gonna get her to make the group a little open so she can get more people in. Mason, I probably needed more than you did. Truth be told, I probably needed more than you. You got pimped, brother. You got pimped, that's all. But we've been knowing each other since 91. 91, what's that, 01, 11, 21. So yeah, 31 years. Who the hell would have thought? We both been married and divorced. I think I've been married. Well, no, I've been married. This is my third one. I think this is his second one. So I should have let him have my. I should have let him have my first wife. He deserved that punishment. So yeah, if y'all ain't got nothing else, I'm gonna take me a quick little break and get ready for D show. You know how it is. I appreciate y'all spending some time with me, sharing a drinky drink. Oh, so we both on our third. So 3 is the magic number. All right, but y'all know what it is. I ain't finna drink all this because I have another show. But until next week, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. Oh shit, I need to see if Roy's still around. What you in about? Roy, you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right. You cool with us closing out now?
It's on you, Doc.
All right. So Antoinette, go on and flirt with Roy so I can fuss at you about, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to flirt with both of us on my show. When Roy get his show, you can flirt with him. Roy, you still do old nerd, the nerd show?
Grubby old nerd, yes, getting ready to come on after this one at 8:30.
Okay, see, Antoinette, Roy got a show that come on at 8:30. You can go on his show and flirt with him. You can't be flirting with him on my show. That's not how we do this. That's not how we do this. So how does she get to your show, Roy?
Hey, Antoinette, Just it's on the Jericho page and on my page.
Okay, so go to Roy page or go to Jericho page, and he got a show coming up. Then you can be flirting with him and all the other good stuff, so I don't have to put you in a headlock. All right, so y'all know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. I will see y'all again next week. But until then, like I said, peace, popcorn, and chicken grease, and we out.